Well, I'm not in that picture, but I could be, because I was around way back then. I got Chet LaValley with me at Beekman Towers in Plattsburgh, and what an exciting time this is to come and say hello to my old friend.
Yes, you are my old
My
friend.
young old friend.
That's for sure.
We've known each other for a long
Day
time,
one.
and we've spent a lot of sober moments together,
Yeah.
and some that weren't necessarily so.
I remember one time about you.
Yeah, you remember stories about me.
Up at Kay's. You remember Kay
Oh
Restaurant?
my goodness!
He come up to me and he says, "Can I sing a song?" I said, "What do you mean? Can you sing a song? Did you ever sing before?" He
When
said,
the Saints-
"Yeah."
when the Saints go
come marching
in.
he held that crowd up there.
Oh yeah, we
Remember
held-
that during
we
that
held
broadcast?
crowd. They were only people left when it was over were you and me.
I know what he wanted. He wanted to be on the air. We were broadcasting then. He wanted to be on the air.
Those people who have been around the North Country for a while know who Chet LaValley is, and they remember all the great bands, including Chet and the Four Notes. But up until about 2 weeks ago, I did not know that you were back in town. I kind of lost track of you when you went to Arizona. And
Yeah, I left
and
at
had the big band out.
Yeah, I was all over the West out there with big bands.
I cannot believe how great you look.
Well, thank you.
One night
I feel good.
One night a few years ago, Kay and I were in Dominic's,
Yeah.
having a couple of cold ones.
Dominic burned down, I understand.
Yes, it did. There's still a big yellow tape around it. So
I got a story.
You've closed a lot of
I got
places.
a story about Dominic's.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, do you want me to tell you?
Sure. We're going to tell lots of stories. Go ahead.
All right, Al Delano was playing at Turtle. And
That's the
Larry
naked
and Fanny called up and said,
Huh? No, the naked turtle, right? Or was it swinging turtle?
swinging turtle down
Oh,
on,
the swinging turtle down on Route 9. Okay.
down on Route 9.
Okay.
And Larry and Fanny called up and he said, Chet, I got this job at Dominic's with Hap Lemare and Larry and Fanny. And would you want to help us out? Was there something going on? So I said, sure, okay. So I went over. This was a Saturday night. Well, he played the organ. I don't know if you know him.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Played a beautiful instrument. He held the audience in pits. Well, we got going on a good jazz, and the place was just jammed with people. We got going on a good jazz session. And we about 10 minutes just going, and Larry and Fanny, when he played the drums, he would put his head down like that. That's all you saw was just his hands going like that. He never made a move with the cymbals or anything. It was there all the time.
Okay.
Never looked. Well, Larry was sitting on the left-hand side of the organ. I was standing in back of Willie, and Hap Lanier and I over here. So he says to Happy and I, says, when I tell you to get off the bandstand, get off the bandstand. So we're going. I see him take out a book of matches. He had one note on that organ. When you play one note on an organ, that means you got about 3 different chords going.
Oh, sure.
And boy, we were going, here he is going. He put that match between the keys and held that note. That note was going, and he's going crazy. We walk off the bandstand of the bar and back of us. The people were just, and for 10 minutes, I'll bet you for 10 minutes, this guy played the drum. And all of a sudden, he looks up.
There's nobody there.
The guy went nuts.
There's a match between to hold the keys
Hold
down.
the key down.
Oh,
He was all
my
by
God.
himself with the organ. I
Isn't
never
that
forgot that.
funny?
That was one of the craziest things.
Well, were you born and brought up around here, Chet?
I was born in Champlain, New York.
Were you really?
Yeah, shall I say it?
Yeah, you got it.
1915.
Because people don't realize how great
I
you
was
look.
born during the bootlegging days.
I walked in here and I said, Chet, you're looking good for 64. He said, yeah, you don't know how old I am. I said, yeah, I know you're 92.
I think you were paid to say
You
that.
were celebrating your birthday when you and your son came into Dominic's the night when Kay and I were in
That's
there.
right.
I don't know what
That's
birthday
about
that
10
was.
years ago.
So you were 82. What the heck? A lot of water over the dam,
Oh,
Chet,
God,
right?
man, it's so cute. But there's been happy years. I've never, God has been so good to me.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
When you think
I had
about
a
it-
beautiful family. I got a son and a granddaughter and a daughter-in-law that no one on this earth could have any better than what I've got.
Well, where's your son
They
now? I
are
never
the
see him
precious.
either.
Bruce is in Cumberland Head.
He is. He's still around?
Oh, yeah, he's very, very active in assessment. He does a terrific good job. He's retired from the city, you know.
I knew he was, and I just never run into him anymore.
He's got a beautiful home on Cumberland Head. And Kelly, of course, has got a fabulous business. I think she employs 15 girls at Sassy Images. Sassy Images is the top place in town for these ladies to have their hair fixed up, which is on Cornelia Street, see?
So you had to come back.
That's them right there, see?
Oh, I see him. The camera can't see it very well, but that's all right. We're going to pause for a minute. We got a lot to talk about. We're talking with Chet LaValley, the famous Chet LaValley, who's got his horn here, and we're going to talk about Chet and the Four Notes
Oh my God, I should
and
have put
all
it
the
away.
good times we had. Stay tuned. We're grabbing pictures off the wall. We're doing stuff. Now, what is that picture of? There's three people in that picture. I recognize Bruce.
That's Bruce, Pam, and Kelly.
All right.
That's my family right there.
That's a wonderful family.
That's all I'm living for is this right there. And they watch me like a hawk. They sent me up here, Kelly and Pam. And this is what they did for me. Come on
Beekman
here.
Towers. You know, when you were born and when I first came up here in the 50s and early 60s, there were no high-rise towers.
Yeah.
And boy, I don't know how many stories there are here. How many floors are there here? 13? 11 floors?
11 floors.
Well, that was the tallest building in the area when they built this thing.
Yeah.
Who would ever guess here you are in room 601 on the 6th floor, back again, huh?
It's very reasonable, and they're beautiful people here.
Are they?
Oh yeah. The lady that we talked to downstairs, I won't mention her name because she's going to shoot me if I do. She said, I don't want you to take my picture.
Well, you've had people chasing you with guns all your life.
Miss Prudy.
Oh, I love it.
She's a sweetheart. She watches over us, and she's the best caretaker. And I'm telling you, she's something else. The place is I don't think I could have found anything better. I didn't find it. Bruce did.
I don't know if it's the music, if it's good genes, if it's all the friends and good times you've had, but something has kept you young, and you can't complain about that when you wake up feeling pretty good in the morning. Let's go back to Champlain. 1915.
1915, I was born in 1915,
Born
Champlain.
in a home.
Up on the Sure Nine Works.
Oh, of course, we've talked about it many times on this
Sure
show.
Nine Works. Lockwood Clark, great friend of mine. His father was the owner of Sure Nine Works. We brought up together up there. Matter of fact, I just was up at Lockwood the other day and talked to him. And we went to school together. Went to St. Mary's Academy, you know.
Did you
there.
really?
I was with the nuns, Mother Supreme.
Kept you right in line, huh? For a little while.
And then we went and my dad was chief electrical engineer at the Sure Nine Works, worked every day of the week from early morning till late at night. In those days, it wasn't like now where you had to work so many hours.
You didn't work 35 hours a week and go home, huh?
No, my dad did.
No, I said these days people work 35-hour week is a long work
go
week.
home.
In those days.
And I can remember coming out of the school and going home across the river. My mother would have my dad's dinner, and I would run that 1 mile up to the shop, run that 1 mile back, go back to school. Every day.
No wonder you made it to 92. You were in shape when you were a little kid.
And I used to do interpretation for French people at the customs
Oh, did you?
Yeah, because I could talk French, you know.
Oh.
And I used to be at the custom house and then help them out there. And in my younger days, when I first started music, I would go up to Meridian Hotel.
We've talked about the Meridian. Calvin's smiling back there behind the camera. He knows about the Meridian.
The Meridian Hotel and the Riviera and all those places. And I can remember Gene Poole, Jack Jackson, Gene Poole and his orchestra. I can remember seeing Paul Whiteman's big bus come up there.
No kidding.
Oh yeah, this is a big hotel.
And that would have been later on in the 20s, maybe, huh?
Yeah, that's probably around 29, something like that, 30.
Yeah.
Because I started playing in 32, 33. I started playing at the excuse me, when the 3-2 beer came out in 1932. I just started playing saxophone with 4 guys, Dennis LaFountain and Romeo Filio. How do I remember that?
And
I
who
can't
else?
remember. I can't remember my name.
Okay, that's 3 guys.
Yeah, but I
Who's-
can't remember the other one.
Well,
Oh,
what-
Gene Poole.
Gene himself.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, how did you learn? Did you take lessons? Did you just
I
pick it
started
up?
under Harold Mayo.
Oh my gosh.
Harold
Another
Mayo.
famous blast from the
That's right.
past.
I studied under Harold Mayo, and at the school there was a Sister Mary Angela was she'd teach singing,
Yeah.
and she would say, "Well, this is note this A," and I remember that. She was teaching me that because I wanted to play. You know, I had about as much. You want to know how I got into music?
Of course I do.
Well,
That's what we're here for.
all my life there was a girl by the name of Rita Hamill, gorgeous girl, which was the 3rd cousin of mine. And my mother kept saying, you know, you can't marry into the cousin. You can't. She's related to you. I said, well, Dad, I know. Well, all right. And that kept on. They kept telling me. Well, anyway, I can't remember the year, but the Presbyterian church was right in town. You come into town at the end of town where the fire station is now. That used to be the Presbyterian. He probably is. People were.
Fire station ain't there no more.
Yeah,
No fire
your people
station
must have
anymore.
talked to you about it.
Yeah, the fire station's moved.
Yeah. What has?
Yeah.
Oh, well, anyway, there was the Presbyterian church. Well, that burned down, okay? Then they built a brand new fire station, a town hall, they call it town hall, which the 2nd floor was the dance hall, beautiful dance hall, tennis, basketball court, and a big stage up there. And
That's the way they did it. All the towns had one. Yeah.
balcony, you know. Well, Rita says they're going to have a big thing for the opening of the town hall, and Peck's Bad Boys are going to play. I don't know if you know the name or not.
I've heard the name.
Peck's Bad Boys were coming in town, and I said, well, I got about as much rhythm as a damn red. I don't know how to dance. Well, my mother, poor sweetheart, tried to show me, and then Rita tried to show me. Well, the night of the dance, my sister, who had married Frederick Globe, who was manager of the Grand Union and also an insurance company, Eva, and her maid, Marie Laundry. Gee, I remember those names.
Good for you.
Sat down alongside the hall on a bench there and watched all the people dancing. And Rita and I came in. There are the bands playing, and I'm getting up on the stage, stepping on her toes. Oh, man. Well, she gave me a shove. I went back. I flew back, you know, and she said, I'm going to dance with somebody that can dance. And I said, well, boom, boom, boom. The old heart was going, you know. Tears were coming down. I went over to my sister, and Marie says, you come with me. She got a hold of me and got me on the floor, and she says, I want you to walk. Just walk. Walk with me. And I walk. And I'm walking in front of the bandstand, and I see those 4 trumpet guys up there. Boom! I said, if that's what she wants to do, I'll make her dance. And that's how I started. I said, I'm going to make her dance. By listening to those 4 trumpet players, I'm going to learn how to play, and I'm going to make her dance.
Just
You know,
the light came on.
This
That's
great
an old
love
light bulb.
thing, you know.
Yeah, sure.
So from then on, the next week, I went and saw Harold Mayo, and I started
Listen,
trumpet. And I
Oh, you started trumpet.
I started trumpet, and
Oh.
I wanted to play so hard, I ruptured my lip, and he said, you'll never play again, and it's still there. And he says, in another month, you come see me, and we'll see what you can play. So he put me on a saxophone, and 6 months later, Dennis Lafont, Romeo Fillion, and Gene Poole had this band, and
And there you were.
Then the American Legion, the American Hotel,
The old
because
American,
of the 3-2 beer, and the people were, instead of going to the Marine Hotel, would come over to American Hall, and man, we used to crowd them in there. Well, I did that for almost 2 years over there.
You learned by doing it once you got
Did you know Gay
started.
Coulombe?
I know the name.
Gay Coulombe, Lynn King. I hired them. It got to I had 6 or 8 pieces in the band, and it got so that people from Plattsburgh would call me and pull it at place on Beekman Road, Beekmantown Road there. I don't know, forget. God, I can't remember. See that? I can't remember yesterday.
Not the cave.
No, it's right across from on the hospital road. What's the name of that street? Was it Beekmantown Road?
Yeah, Route
Beekman
22.
Street?
Beekman Town Road,
That,
yeah.
that nightclub on that street.
Oh, I can't remember offhand. No.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
Anyway, it doesn't
we
matter.
played there.
Well, what were you called? Did you have a name back then? For
No,
that?
no, I played with other guys.
Oh, you
I
played
played with Gay, Jim Fredericks,
Oh, Jim Frederick.
and them guys. And then I.
Oh, these are, for young people, these are very, very famous names in the North Country connected with
that
music.
Day, yeah.
And we're going to talk a lot about music today because music has been your life. But I want to go back to the beginning. What was your dad's name, his first name?
Warren LaValley.
Warren, and your mom was?
Ida LaValley. Her name was Ida Hebert.
Hebert, okay. Want
That
to get
was
it
her maiden
straight.
name, huh?
Now, did you have brothers and sisters?
I had 7 in a family.
Did you really?
Eva was my only sister that lived, and she married Teddy Glode.
Oh, okay.
Frederick Glode, Teddy Glode. And Herbie Rock was married the daughter of my sister, Joyce.
Isn't that amazing? Everything's connected if you wait long enough to find what those connections are.
Oh yeah, it's all things.
So yeah, you
But I
really
never-
enjoyed your time playing around that area with different people before you had your own band, right?
Oh yeah, then I know, 'cause as I said, I had small bands. I'd play here and there in Ross Boys.
But it's
and all that.
interesting to me that you ruptured your lip and had a problem with the lip, and so you gave up the trumpet. I happen to know trumpet players and cornet players, and you know, I'm interested in music. And Wynton Marsalis had a ruptured lip, did real damage to
Yeah,
his lip.
that's right.
And last year, he had a serious operation on his lip. He couldn't play anymore.
Yeah.
And they did major work on his lip. And because he's a real consummate professional musician, he had to learn how to play all over again. He started, he didn't have any range. You know, he had a great range.
No, he busted
before.
the parts of the lips.
Yeah. And little by little by little by little, he came back and he taught along the way. Just the nicest guy in the world.
Oh,
And
yeah.
when you said that, I was thinking of his operation, and now he's back to his own self again.
Yeah, well, see, my day, they didn't think of that.
Didn't have the operations available.
I was too much in a hurry to. The thing I had in my mind, I'm going to make her dance.
You're gonna make that girl dance?
If I'd have
I
to play the
love it.
drums, I'd have made her dance, you know. But you know, I never went out with her again.
And whatever happened to her?
I never went out with her again.
Isn't that so? You don't know where she ended up?
Oh
or
yeah,
what?
I know where she went. Oh, I know.
You kept trying.
But she kept after me, and I would never. Because I had a band, you know, Chet, the Harlequins, you know.
The Harlequins was the first.
Yeah, the first band. Oh boy, Chad tried. She'd come to be nice to me, you know, but I wouldn't do it. Poor Rita.
So you finally had the Harlequins.
And I
What year was the Harlequins?
Oh God, yeah.
Can you remember?
And the Harlequins.
What would you guess?
God, I don't know. I don't know.
Was it 40s by then?
Perhaps it was.
Yeah, I think we got a picture of the Harlequins in here, and we're gonna stop the tape for just a minute and resume our interview with Chet LaValley, and maybe I'll find a picture of the Harlequins
Right,
so we can
right,
show
do
people
that,
what we're
yeah.
talking about. Stay tuned. All right, we're showing this picture of the Clinton Community College Foundation presenting Hotel Champlain Night, the Roaring Twenties. That was fun. Dancing to Chet LaValley and the Harlequins. I have no idea what year that was, Chet.
I can't remember, but I know that Jim Miller, Doc Mariana, and the Bombard, Marie Landis,
Well,
Ray Barno, rather,
a lot of those people are not with us anymore.
had gone.
Big Jim is gone.
But that was a week. We had about 3 nights of there. They had a great celebration of it. That was the opening. I think the college just took over or something.
Yeah,
like
but that was, the Harlequins, was that before Chet and the Four Notes?
Oh, no, that was before, yeah.
Yeah.
Long before, yeah.
Long before that. Calvin reminds me that we mentioned, talking
Yeah,
about.
because I left here and I went to Detroit.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Well, let's talk now, let's go back, we go back and forth, but that's all right, we're old, we can do that. Your brothers' names, tell me about your brothers.
My brother's name was Morris, was one of them, who was he was in the Navy and then went to Kansas, was affiliated with the Union, and he died. I don't remember in the 80s. And then, of course, my sister Eva, you know, who passed away as well. She was Mrs. Teddy Glode, Frederick Glode. And then Myself next. Name is Chet LaValley.
Yeah, I think we know that.
And then Jimmy LaValley. James LaValley is, he was with Pal Blade. He worked for Pal Blade, married Veronica Matat. And they in Georgetown, Kentucky. Retired, of course. And he has 10 children. Beautiful
No
family.
kidding. And he's in Kentucky now.
10 children, and you should see that family. They are so close and very well, they're very prosperous and they're very intelligent family. As a matter of fact, one of the boys is got some kind of a resort down here in alongside of Albany, on the other side of the river, a great big place, which is very successful.
Ah, good.
And then there was Alonzo, Moon LaValley. You ever hear of Moon LaValley?
Nope.
Baseball.
That was my favorite. My
Baseball player? No kidding.
Moon LaValley. When Moon was young, I don't think he ever let go of my pants. He would hang on to my trousers. If I went anywhere,
He wanted to be with you, huh?
there was Moon. Yeah, he just loved me. And so he grew up. He grew up fast. And at that time, I was in Double-A baseball in the North Country, and Russell Seaton.
That's great. You're
Russell
doing great.
Seaton, who was a top pitcher for the Yankees, got a disease from lungs, and he ended up in what's that town up here?
Saranac Lake?
Saranac Lake.
Did he? Yeah.
Yeah, in the hospital.
Trudeau's.
And when he was out of the hospital, he come down. That's when they had the Northern Leagues. Remember the Northern
Oh,
Leagues?
sure.
Yeah. Okay. He would come down here, and he would come up to Champlain, and got to know my sister and whatnot, and watched us play. He taught my brother how to play, how to pitch. But when Moon was young, one day we were practicing baseball, and because he always sang, I said, "Go sit down there. Now I'm going to go bat." You know. He walks up and I'm swinging, and I got him right in the nose.
Oh no, he ran
My
right up
bat,
close to you.
I flattened his face right.
Oh, that's terrible.
So he had a face like.
Oh,
It's flattened his face out. That's why they call him Moon. He has no nose.
oh no kidding.
Oh,
Just
he
broke his nose.
Broke
and,
his nose, and
oh my.
so from that time on, they called him Moon LaValley.
What a story.
Well, he got to be a good ball player. Russell Seaton showed him how to pitch. He ended up with in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and ended up with the Red Sox.
No kidding.
Yeah. So then, of course, the service took him out of there, and then he ended up in Champlain, in Coopersville, and then from Coopersville into Elmira, New York, and there he passed away last year. So then my brother's gone, and I don't have anybody. And then, of course, I had Warren LaValley, which was a younger. Well, no, Warren was older, but he died when he was a younger, and I had another sister who passed away when younger. So the Castine's family knew them. You know.
Did they?
Yeah.
Everything's connected
They knew
in
everybody,
Champlain
you know.
anyway, right?
Well,
And of course,
he knows the Castine family too.
Yeah.
Oh, the Castines too?
so in Champlain, I was brought up in a convent, of course, you know, convent. And I go to church every other day and Mary and whatnot.
That's why you're such a holy
Yeah.
person, huh?
And I was an altar boy. And on Sunday, one Sunday, I'm kneeling there and I hear the name Ruth Tremblay is very, very ill in the hospital, who had Quincy's, and it developed to a very serious thing, and they need our prayers. Well, man, God knows, it hit me. I could not. I just prayed so hard for her. I never forgot the name, and I went looking for her. Come to find out, she was staying at Trepaniers, a guy by the name who had a furniture store in Champlain. She was staying at Deal's, Castine, which was her sister. That's this boy's sister.
Yeah.
And of
Grandmother, your grandmother?
Yeah.
Calvin's grandmother, okay, I gotcha.
And, on the old homestead. And
Where I live.
That's where Calvin lives now.
that's where you live now.
Yeah.
You are living on the old homestead, is that right?
Sure,
Oh,
right there on the Ridge Road.
Boy, I slept a lot of times upstairs.
Did you really?
Anyway, so I remember that, as I said, she was always on my mind. And I was working for my brother-in-law at the Grand Union grocery store, pecking potatoes, so I could pay for a saxophone
Really?
that he had bought for me.
Oh
I think
my.
he paid $100 and some odd for it, and you peck potatoes, and you get 65 cents a day. That's
Isn't
what
that
he paid me,
amazing?
65 cents a day to peck potatoes to pay for that horn. Well, one day he said, "Chet, come on upstairs." So I went upstairs from downstairs. That's the old Grand Union grocery store in Champlain. I went upstairs. He says, "This is Ruth, and she lives with Reverend Durbin, and you want to carry the groceries up for her. Crate of groceries, orange crate of groceries." Took the cart. The more I looked at her, geez, the old heart started to pound. You know, she was beautiful. You know, so I walked her up there, and I said, "I'd like to see you again." And that's how it started. I never went out with anybody else but Ruth. Never. I would go from Champlain, and he'll tell you how it is on Ridge Road. In my day, when the snowstorm in the wintertime, it wasn't like now. The Ridge Road, the snow was up to the telephone poles, the wires on telephone
You know,
poles.
people tell those stories and it's hard for young people to understand it
I
because
used to
of
take my
the way
seat.
snow is plowed and removed now. But can you imagine snow to the telephone or
On top
before
of
that, the
telephone,
telegraph poles?
all the way out to the farm where he's living now, and his grandfather would say, "John, was it John Frank? Eh?
My grandfather,
Frank, was it Frank?
Robert Burt.
Huh?
Delia's husband was Burt.
Bert. He'd say, "You got to stay. You can't go back. You can't go back."
That was tough.
He'd put me upstairs in that room.
That was a tough life, huh?
Those were the days. I'd go out and watch him milk the cows, you know, and whatnot. Next day I'd go home.
Well,
Never forgot that.
I don't think they've had snow up to
Anyway,
the
I
telephone poles on the Ridge Road in a long
I
time.
married the girl.
You did, huh?
I married the girl, and my reception was at where he's living right now.
At the house?
Yeah, and I had something like $35 or something saved up for my wedding. Those days were bad, you know.
Yeah.
So we had the wedding. His grandfather, yeah, they're pranksters. They can be awfully dirty.
Oh, they could do that in
You know
those
what?
days, yeah.
They fed Ruth coffee, and in the coffee they put catnip. No, not catnip. Anyway, she was in the bathroom all night long.
Oh, no.
She had diarrhea all night long.
Oh, my goodness.
Those cast irons are something else, I'll tell you.
So you got quite a few memories up in that area, right?
So that's my story up to Champlain.
So you moved out of Champlain when?
Oh,
As a young adult, or?
young, oh yeah. Yeah, then I went to work at the hospital. We worked there while playing at the same time at the hospital.
At Physicians Hospital?
Champlain
Oh,
Valley.
Champlain Valley Hospital.
Yeah, Dr. DeRampre, Dr. Gagne, Dr. Kasperzak. Yeah, I remember that. Those are the
So that's what you did besides playing, and you played for years and years
They
and
wanted
years.
me. They wanted me to be a man nurse, so I had about a year of schooling man nursing.
Did you?
No,
Male
sir.
nurse, yeah.
Yeah, but I just couldn't see it. So there was no money. God, if it hadn't been for Dio and that family to help us, we couldn't have been go. But anyway, his grandmother, who has a brother, Orville Castine, lived in Detroit. And an aunt called Rose. So I had taken a test an examination to be a guard at the prison. My father says, take an examination, you'll pass. I didn't have that kind of, I went to second year high. I didn't, I quit. Anyway, I didn't have that kind of education, but I wasn't dumb, you know. So I passed the test. And I'm walking in front of St. John's Church, going to the hospital, got the mail, opened the letter up, here it is. You're accepted.
Oh boy.
I get home, Bruce says, you're to call Orville Castine in Detroit, which is his uncle. And I called him, he says, I'd like to have you come down, I've got a station on John R. and Inglewood, and I need somebody to help me run it. And he said, I'm going to build another big station, and one day you'll have this station here.
Radio station?
No, gas station.
Oh, gas station.
Beautiful gas station.
Oh, okay.
So I talked it over with Ruth. Bruce was born, and we decided we'd go. That's how I got to Detroit.
Unbelievable. By the way, we'll pause just for a moment to let you know that we're talking with my good friend and the North Country's great friend, Chet LaValley. My memories with him don't go back to the Ridge Road, but they go back to the pretty early days when I first came to Plattsburgh in 1961. And he almost led to my downfall by making me go out 7 days a week, wherever they were playing, wherever there was fun going on. Those were the days. The 50s and 60s.
There's so many places
days.
we played in Plattsburgh. The Cadillac Club, Noah's Ark. We played all over. Glens Falls, you know. Grandview, played New Jersey. Mariah down in the mountains, what do you call it, that ski place down the mountain near Elmira, New York. We went all over. We went to Montreal, played Montreal. I turned down a job to play in the Black Hawk Hotel, Black Hawk restaurant in Chicago. What was the name of Mighty Atlas? The Mighty Atlas. Rita Shapiro. Rita Shapiro was on vacation here, and she come up to Grandview and she saw the show. And Rita and I were brought up together. And she says, when I get back to Chicago, I'm going to have somebody call you, because I think I got a place where you can come. I didn't know what she was talking about. Country acre boy from town.
Yeah, sure.
But anyway, she talked to this guy that had the Black Hawk Club. And he
very famous jazz club in
had
Chicago.
Taken pictures and whatnot of the show and whatnot, and he wanted us to go out. Lynn King didn't want to go, so we didn't go. But the following month, Louis Armstrong played some kind of thing down here.
Oh, how well I remember.
You remember that? Well, Louis Armstrong and his orchestra came up and sat right at the side while we were doing the show. And he come over and
Is that
said,
a kick? Is that a kick? I mean, for me, it was a kick just to be in the same town with him, let alone on the same stage with him.
I can't say the words that he come over and put his hand on my shoulder. He says, I've laughed in my life, but he says, I've never laughed like this.
Did he really?
Yeah, he said.
Oh my goodness.
Well, we did that crazy thing.
I'd never washed my shoulder again. Isn't that great?
So I was quite pleased with that. And the guys just give us an awful big hand. If you remember the Grandview, it was just loaded all the time.
Now we're talking about a building which still exists. It's some kind of a company now.
Yeah.
And it's north of the city on Route 9 on the west side of Route 9.
Right.
And I can't remember what year it opened.
I don't.
But I do remember a few things about the place, including the fact that I think it had sulfur water.
Gus Reppes is the one that owned it.
Yes, Gus Reppes, that's right.
Gus Reppes.
I think there was sulfur water, weren't there, in the Johns? I think so.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know how I remember that, except that...
Yeah, a great big sign out in the front there, Grandview, great big sign out there, Grandview. There was very little parking place. There was probably 50 cars for parking space, and we would have so many cars that they would line up all the way along 9 on the road, and the trooper would come in and tell Gus, we've got to give them tickets or let them move.
Yeah, those were the days. I'll tell you,
No.
people have no idea because we don't have anything quite like that going on.
Oh, no.
In the North Country.
They don't have fun.
We're recording this, by the way, on the 22nd day of May,
Let me tell you something about the
2007.
Grandview. In the Grandview, I would do the show. Of course, the stages was 18 inches off the floor.
Yeah.
And a spotlight, our flash spotlight was way over in the corner over there, and the spotlight would flash through that blue smoke. There was no ventilation, and it was just blue smoke over the top of the people like that.
Is that people don't know when I tell
You
them
know-
that now? I'm glad you mentioned that. A lot of the places were that way because people could smoke anywhere back in those days, and they
There was
did.
no ventilation.
And there was no ventilation. The same
Just
thing with
loaded with, it was just blue. It was
Yeah.
just blue like that.
and the moisture would make would be like high humidity in the place all the time. Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah, we put on this. I do a lot of takeoffs because you saw the shows. I do I'll tell you about them as you go on if you want to take some more pictures. But I got a story about one. I think I was pretty good at pantomime.
Oh yes, of course.
You know, so there was a couple from Montreal that came down there, sat right there, and I was doing Keely Smith.
Of course.
And
Louis Prima, Keely
Keely
Smith, Black Magic.
matter of fact, I got a thing. I'll give it to you, and if you can take it off of it, you probably can see where you'll run it. It's taken from the wedding of my brother in Coopersville. But we went from there to the Howard Johnson show. We did the show, so you can cut off that other stuff and take it. But anyway, this couple. Very attractively, and he was a distinguished looking man. And they would be dancing very nicely close like that to the first part of the show. And I did the show, doing the show, and I heard her say, "I'll bet you $100 he's singing." He said, "No, he's just, that's Parniak, he's doing
It's
a
lip sync,
pantomime."
yeah.
No, she kept that. He's singing the song, "I'll bet you $100. So after I got done the thing, I went over and said, "Which one is it that says that I'm not singing?" She says, "He is." Well, I says, "You're wrong. I'm singing."
Did you really?
Yeah.
You're a nasty person. You know that? Did you really?
So she had to pay him. She had to pay her $100.
Now, you did a bit. You did the Louis Prima, Keely Smith, that old Black Magic.
Oh my God, there's so many.
How many times did you do that old Black Magic?
Unbelievable.
Has me
I
in
can't-
its belt.
I can't tell you. I can't.
With dressing up and doing all the crazy stuff.
Dressing up, it got to a point where it was just automatic.
Oh yeah.
I put on the eyelashes and everything else. And the powder.
You had to
and
be
the
there, folks.
wigs
And we
the-
wish we had videos of those days, but people didn't have video cameras back those days. Digital cameras weren't invented. We do have photographs. I want to know, by the way, we're talking with Chet LaValley. We're at Beekman Towers in his apartment, and we're just having a good time here on a
Oh,
what is
you're
it, on a
bringing
Tuesday
back, you're bringing
afternoon.
back memories.
I want to know how you met these guys and finally formed Chet and the Four Notes.
Oh, you mean the Four Notes?
How did that come
Well,
about?
I was working in Detroit. I was managing a plant in Detroit during the war days. And of course I played, and I came hot home, and I went down to, oh God, where the ferry is in Port Kent there. What's the name of it? That club that used to be down there? Oh, God, I wish I was going to remember.
Oh, I know very well because I watched it. I watched as the mountainside came down and ruined it. Canada Lodge.
Canada Lodge.
I'm helping you out
Okay,
here.
that a boy. Was Canada Lodge. That's the first, when I came back from Detroit, I went down there, and Herb Brock, who was my nephew by
Yeah.
marriage, was playing down there. I went in there, and Lynn King was on the stage, and he had this thing on his head, and it was an Indian act. And I thought it was very, very funny, you know. So, and then Hap Lemare was there with him.
Oh no, the three of them.
Three of them. And there was somebody else. There was 4 or 5 guys in there. So it hit me. I said, you know, if I got Herb and Happy and Lynn and myself on bass, I could probably have some fun. So I had a few dollars. I said, I think I'll invest. So I got a hold, talked to him. And I said, I'll invest enough to buy 4 different outfits, and I think you need another amp. He had an amp. Unbelievable. Got that. If you guys are willing to do a couple of 3 rehearsals, then I'll go out and get some work. That's how it started.
Okay, just off the
Just
top
like
of your
that.
head, you went to Canada Lodge, and there they were.
There they were, and then I put those guys together, and I went out and I got all these jobs, got my bass, that was it. And we ended up with 9 different outfits. I would go to New York and buy those outfits out. I went down to Schenectady. One time, Len King at the NCO club, he had a drum that was born in 1812, I guess. It was about that high.
Yeah.
Big round thing, you know, and it was all dried up, but he could play on anything. That guy,
Oh, sure.
he could take a plate and play on anything.
Oh, sure.
Anyway, one night, as you can see, this stage is built up.
Oh,
there.
from the original picture, yeah.
We got going on a tune. He got carried away, and bang! He went right through the drums,
Oh, he did, really?
and he got mad at his bass drum. He put his foot through the bass drum.
Oh, come on!
And he got up, he got mad, and he took his hand, he went boom on the snare drum and smashed it all. It's a good thing it was towards the end of the night, because. So anyway, the next day I called him and I said, Lynn, I said, I got about 10 different contracts here. I said, we got to get a set of drums. He said, I can't afford to buy a set of drums. So I said, well, okay, then we'll go down and Schenectady. There was nothing down here in Plattsburgh. So we went down to Schenectady. And he picked out a set of Ludwig drums. I think it was $1,300 in those days. Probably
Big
10,000.
money. Oh, yeah.
10,000 today. And set him up with a beautiful. So, well, man, what a difference in the show with them new drums. Wow, he was something else. He went crazy. So they never left me. The guys never said, I'm going to go play for somebody else or anything like that. A lot of times they could have, but they never would.
Well, you know, that happened a lot in those days. For the people who didn't live around here in the North Country in the 50s and the very early 60s, there were quite a few bands. Some were here, and a bunch of guys that would live here, and others would come through town. There'd be country bands, you know.
Oh, you know, if I said, I need help, they were there.
Yeah.
They were there.
But these guys stayed with you
Oh, yeah.
for
we
years.
played all over. I remember one job, we played the 1980 Olympics. We were there for 4 days up there in the Lake Placid Club. Played that for it. That was a great thing. We played, well, I had that, and I also had a 12-piece band with it up there. Now, you got pictures of that in there somewhere. But they, as I said, they never would let me go. They just...
Each one had his own individual talent.
Yep.
But it's
Herbie
like
could sing. He could be the best front man that you could possibly. I wasn't the front man on the band. Once in a while I'd sing a song, but that was driving
Herb,
people away. But
when I first heard Herb, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but you know, Herb and I have been good friends through the years. But
sure.
I was on the radio here, and I knew good singing when I heard good singing, and I told him when I first heard him, I said, "You're way too good for this town."
Yeah, he was.
And he would sing, he sang a couple of tunes that were very popular. He'd cover like some of Brenda Lee's songs and those songs. And I said, I've never heard anything that good. You could make a recording.
I don't care what song somebody come up and say, sing this song. Okay. I don't care what song Herb knew it. I never saw a guy with such a library.
It's
Every
amazing.
song that was in the market,
He knew the lyrics.
knew it.
He had it in his
Oh
head.
yeah, he sang them just beautifully. He wasn't that, as far as his chording on his guitar, it was limited, like a lot of us. But they were good. They were
Great entertainers.
great entertainers. Yeah, he wasn't an artist on the guitar, but he did good filling, good rhythm, wonderful tempo. Metering was good, so it was all there. Lemaire, I don't care what song it was, Lemaire could play it. And he could sing. Happy could sing, but he wouldn't. I'd say, Happy, can you sing something? Nah, I don't want to sing a song.
Oh, he could. He had a good voice.
Oh, yeah.
When Hap was, what did?
Well, you see
was
that baritone on there now?
Yeah, I
That
saw it.
baritone?
We-
Well, remember the Jackpot Motel?
Of course I remember that.
I was staying at the Jackpot Motel, and one day, the guy come in there, and boy, he was, oh crap, I thought he was drunk, but he was all doped up.
Ah,
And he said he was down in Albany, and he got away from there, and he was playing with a big band, and he had playing saxophone, he had this baritone. He had no money.
oh, no kidding.
So he says, I want to sell my baritone. I said, oh, so how much you want for it? For your horn, what do you sell it for? Oh, I gotta sell it. That kind of story. Anyway, I gave him $100 for it. I got
You know what it was worth. You got the biggest bargain.
Well, that's
in
the
the
horn
world.
there.
Is that horn still around?
I don't know what Happy did with it. I give it to Happy.
Oh, you gave it to him.
Yeah, give it to Happy.
Oh.
And I don't know what
Was he
happened.
originally from around here? Because
Who?
I never knew Hap.
You know, I don't know. No, he was Dan Moran.
He was from
Yeah, his
Danmore.
brother. I think it's Dan Moran. I think it's Dan Moran, if I'm not mistaken.
Because I
He's got a
never
brother
knew him.
somewhere
I
up
never
in that
knew
area.
him away from your band.
Yeah, no, I never.
And the other
Is it
guys I
Dan
knew.
Moran? I don't know. But Happy was in the Navy, and he played in the Navy saxophone. But there was nobody that could touch him on the tone and the balance. It was just perfect, and the feeling on that note that he played.
He had very special talent.
Oh yeah.
And we're gonna stop for a moment. Then we're gonna pick some pictures and we're gonna chat some more. We could go on here for 15 hours.
No kidding.
But this show's a fun one because it's great nostalgia for me.
Really?
And it's
Yeah, it's
just
a lot of
about
baloney.
time. Yeah, but we're good at that.
Yeah,
aren't we?
anyway.
We'll be back in just a moment with Chet
I'm no
LaValley.
celebrity, but you guys are making it feel like one. Back they go there.
Yeah, we're going to show the picture of Chet and the Four Notes again because that is a good big blown up picture. People who lived around here at that time have wonderful memories. I can hear the band in my head.
You can.
Yeah, because
it's right there.
Yeah, and I heard the band so many times. I heard you guys played. You don't know even today how many times that band played.
Oh,
But
God,
hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. Was it just Saturday and Sunday, or Friday, Saturday,
No,
and Sunday?
we play all week. You know, I've seen myself play Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday,
Yeah,
Saturday.
and I was there every time.
I can remember playing during the week and having 3 weddings on Saturday at the Grandview. I can remember that. 3 weddings on Saturday. Herb and I will tell you that.
You got to like what you're doing.
Oh, you got
And people think, well, those guys are just having so much fun up there, and you did, but it's hard work.
Well,
And you're closing the place.
There was quite a bit of equipment to move around.
Quite a bit of equipment, and it's tiring when you're performing.
Especially when it's not just dancing and playing music. We had a show to cope with. I had
Oh, yeah.
clothes to take care of, and makeup and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
this wasn't just a band sitting up on a stage and playing songs.
No.
These were shows. These were performances.
As we say, we worked our can off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but those were days that can never come back, except here today on this show.
They come back to me because I play them on that thing right there.
You got a few of the tape. How many tapes did you save? Just 1 or 2?
Oh, I got a lot of tapes, but I can't. You know that machine that you had a wiring?
Yeah,
Well,
reel to reel.
I one just like it. Well, he gave up on me one day here, so I've been all over trying to get it repaired. Nobody can repair it.
Well, I have reel to reel. I have reel to reel tape recorders at home, and I'll be any tapes. Do you have reel to reel tapes? Lots of them.
No, look at that box down there.
Oh, you got some in a box? Because I can.
I got thousands of them.
If you bear with me, and if we both last another 20 years or so, I'll put one at a time on CD for you, so you can just slip a CD.
Well, I got on DVDs. What I've got.
Well, your DVD player will play CDs, I'm sure, and I can put, 80 minutes of music from those reel-to-reel tapes on those CDs.
Well, that's
for
what
you.
that is. I took some of that and put it
Yeah.
on CDs. See, I got one ready for you of the broadcast. I just a couple of numbers.
That's
that you
terrific.
probably can.
We can listen to some of it later
Put a
on.
picture of the band out here playing that. Because that, to me, that was the greatest thing in the world with not Gordy Little.
I'd never heard of it.
But anyway, it's right.
But the beauty of the shows back in those days was you catered to whoever was there in the audience. Because you bounce off, you get their reaction. You play songs that people like, you talk about them, you throw out a name. Every time I'd walk in, hi
Yeah,
Gordy,
it's
how
amazing.
are ya?
When I moved in this place here, I didn't know anybody. You know, after all, faces change, they get older, it seems I am. But I walked up, you're Chet LaValley.
Oh, of course, see that?
You played for my wedding.
Yeah. Oh,
And there isn't anybody in this building.
isn't that wonderful?
They all come up and say, I know you. Yeah.
Well, it proves that senior citizens are staying healthy, living longer
Yeah.
these days, and
Sure.
people that have memories of you back in the 50s, 60s, 70s. When did the band finally break up? you remember?
1970, I think it's 1977.
But you got together and played for the Olympics, you said, in 1980.
Yeah.
That was after that. You
Yeah.
got the guys back and played
Yeah.
up there because you had a good job.
No, I picked up, I had part of the four notes. I
Yeah.
played, I'm talking about myself.
Oh, but I thought some of those
four
guys
notes
went up
didn't-
there
The
with
four
you.
notes didn't play up there.
Oh, okay.
This is the band that I had up there.
Okay. Well,
The
wait.
members of that, my Happlamere, Naplight, you know Naplight?
Oh, my naps.
Great.
There is no
drummer.
better guy in the
I just
world.
love that guy.
He's still on New Year's Eve. I always go out
He
with.
called me. I played golf with him last week. He just called me last night to play golf again. He's something else. I just.
I go to a party with him at New Year's Eve. We're standing there talking about the old times, and he's embarrassed because he doesn't have a gig. And he, you know,
he's begging me. He's begging me.
Isn't it? And you know,
I can't find a bass in town. There's nowhere I can get a bass. Nobody has a bass. See, I stole mine. I got I had a
well,
beautiful bass.
you don't have room for a stand-up bass in here anyway.
You know. Well, no, but Bob Harp. You know Bob Harp?
Of course.
Well, Bob Harp is one of the boys that always kept in touch with me. He called me in Tucson and Tucson, Green Valley, and we talked probably once, twice a month. And when I came here, that's why the horn is here, we'd have our jam session up there at his house. And poor Bob, he's got a lung thing, and he's having a hard time,
Not
and he
fair.
can't play like he
Not
wants
fair,
to.
but that's all
But
right.
he does a beautiful job. Boy, I just love the way he's got such beautiful equipment. He must have beaucoup money invested in that.
But the old timers up here, and maybe even some of the young people, remember the Nap Light Orchestra because
sure.
you know Nap Light played 50, 60 years
Sure.
around here,
Sure.
and like I said, it was only a year ago or 2 years ago that he had a regular gig for
Sure.
New Year's Eve, if you can believe that.
Yeah,
Plus being just a nice guy and
Oh,
a fun
yeah,
guy
yeah.
to talk to, and
yeah. Well, he worked for. I got a lot of jobs with Naplight. He did a beautiful job of film for. I never worried because he knew what he was doing. He knew the kind of music I played. So he was something else.
so those
Yeah, I
are good
respect
friends.
that
And you,
guy. Good guy.
like I said, some of the names we mentioned here on our program so far today have left us. And they're
Yeah.
playing their horns and singing their songs somewhere up there, out there. And meanwhile,
A lot of-
we just have many, many pleasant memories. We're going to stop again. Then we're going to start going through some of the books and picking out key pictures so people can get an idea what things were like
Yeah,
in days of old when nights were bold.
now you're going into the Detroit thing. Not
Yeah,
the Detroit, but the
We'll go all over the place, okay?
Right.
Stay tuned.
You call it out.
Okay, it says Chet's four notes, Chet LaValley, Happlamere, Lynn King, Herbie Rock. What was this occasion?
Well, I got a telephone call one day, and I was working for Lee Musso, and the guy said, "This is Saranac Inn, and we're having a big party coming out here with this from a Business Women's Association, New York State Business Women's Association. It involves 750 women."
And you said, yes, I'll be right there.
No, I said, "Who is this?" No, he says, "It's true." He says, "I'd like to hire your band to come up and play for it." I said, "You're kidding. 750 women? I don't know if we can do that." You know. Anyway, I said, "Okay." So I said, "Well, send the contract." I never thought we'd get a contract. I just kidding him, you know. Very seldom I work for a contract anyway. But he sent the contract, and I said, well, then it was true, you know.
Yeah.
So then we went up there. There was 750 women and about 4 guys and about 10 waiters with 750 women. We did that for 4 days. Played shows played golf, fished,
it was a good time, man.
and what a wonderful time. Business Women's Association. And I'll tell you, these women, some of them were pretty wild, but nothing out of order.
Yeah, just
Nothing out of order.
good time people. Like
And
good
I can
time.
say one thing about Hap Lemaire. Hap Lemaire would not hang around. He would say, "I'm not staying here. I'm going fishing."
Really?
Yeah, he would not. He wouldn't stay out there. He'd go fishing.
Well,
But it was beautiful. It was
I want
a
to go
really
show
elaborate
a
thing.
good picture of Hap Lemaire right here, if Calvin can just capture it a minute, because he was a good friend, and he played with you for a
what a-
long time. How did
from
you
the
first
beginning.
meet him? Can you remember? Did you first meet him at Canada Lodge?
Yeah, that's where I met the guys, all the guys.
But you didn't know them before that at all? You didn't know
I probably
any of them?
did, but nothing that would involve music. No,
And
No.
Hap hasn't been with us for a while. I can't remember what year he died.
I don't know. I think it's in.
The other guys are still alive, and
It says something in the front, doesn't it say about Lemaire?
Lynn's down in 1983. Come on, 23 years ago? That's when Calvin started pushing the on button on his cameras in 1983.
Is that right? So
He's
you are.
been doing that
That's
all
it,
this
that's
time.
it goes.
I was talking about Calvin with somebody the other day and all the wonderful things that he's done.
There's the both of them together.
Well,
right
I'm
there.
going to take these pictures out because they're right here, and it'll be easier to show them this way.
Well, no.
And Calvin can lock on them right there,
Got glare.
this way.
You got, okay, I got him now. Gotta get the glare out of Lemaire's face.
Oh, let me
Yep.
see. This way, this way.
That's good. Now I got glare on the other guy. There we go. Okay. Okay.
You got him?
We got him.
Okay, now we're talking about Herbie Rock and Hap Lemaire, and they were in their prime in those days, weren't
Oh,
they?
yeah,
Huh?
they were something else.
They were good, and
Yeah.
every now and again I talk to Herbie because Herbie's just been he's been an icon around
yeah,
here for a
sure.
long, long time.
Who doesn't know Herb Rock?
Herbie doesn't know, and so he and I chat, and I'll tell you how our last conversation started. Of course, you never heard of the River Run.
Well, yes, of course I know the river run. We used to play that river run.
All the bars in the River Run. You can
A lot of
believe
clubs
this.
up there.
The Saranac Independent Cemetery Association is collecting money to repair the fence around that wonderful Civil War monument that they've got there. And so they put out a calendar every year, historical calendar.
Oh, really?
And so they said to me, I think we're going to do one on the River Run. And they had seen pictures that we got through the Clinton County Historical Association of all the bars up and down the River Run.
Yeah.
They got them all, wrote a little history of each one, and asked me to write my own comments on the back of the calendar about the river. Of course, I had a few memories that will
You what?
never get in print.
Oh, no. You wouldn't do that, would
But
you?
going up the River Run and then try to make it back. Never mind. But those
You
were-
went around, you never came back.
Those were fun days, and once in a while, that's before the days of the designated driver. That's a relatively
Oh, that's
new
right.
phrase. But you would try to find somebody who could drive enough to get you home.
Poor Herb. Him and
That's
the
a-
river run.
Oh my goodness! So he had good memories for me. Herb had some good things, and I talked to a good friend of mine, Goose Sorrell. They had good memories too about playing.
Oh,
There's
sure.
only two of those joints that are still open.
Is that right?
And I use that word affectionately. Most of the rest of the
Long
bars are
gone.
long gone. But you know, Kay and I used to sit down and laugh about all the places Chet and the Four Notes played at,
Yeah.
and how many of those bars are still in existence.
Is that right?
And how many do
I
you
don't
think?
know.
Not very
I was
many.
going to say that.
They're gone.
There's not too many bars now, is there?
And I guess we should tell people why. It was a different time.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Second World War, different time period.
Well, they get
Korean
together.
War, different time period.
Yeah.
Then we came in the late 50s and early 60s when they decided we had the Cuban Missile Crisis.
That's right.
So they started building all these 8 Atlas missile
11 of
sites, 11 missile sites all around this whole area.
Yeah.
And that brought people in here with General Dynamics astronauts
Yeah, that's
from
right.
all over the country. And when I got here in 1961, this place was hopping.
I know. I work with GDA.
Did you really?
Yep.
Well, there you go.
They got me in the tool division of GDA.
No kidding.
Yeah, I was assigned Site 11.
Oh, wow. Now one of those has turned into
They're-
a beautiful underground home, and
I
they try
know,
to
I
sell
have-
it on eBay.
Is
And
that right?
oh my.
God.
Well, you mentioned. I'll just show a picture of it. You mentioned playing at the NCO club.
Well, that there, what you're looking at is, it was the base commander come down to the club and he heard our band and he made a write-up of it. You can't see it on there.
Yeah.
But he made a write-up and had it put in the paper about what, as you can see, what he thought of our entertainment.
Chet's four notes
As a matter
caused
of
a
fact-
mild sensation. There you go.
Yeah. What he did, he issued an order that they give us a contract for 6 months.
Oh, no kidding.
They gave me a contract for the first year. The second year I turned it down. I said, we don't want to play 6 months. The boys didn't want to play 6 months. So we took it for 3 months. We did that for 3 years for the NCO club.
Did you really? Well,
I can remember when the NCO club, the acoustic of the ceiling was cloth.
Yeah, I remember
Beautiful.
very well.
Beautiful sound, you know. And I remember that every year it was $68,000 that the government gave them to renovate the NCO club for whatever they did to chairs or whatever. The second year I went in there, I came in for the job and the stage was covered with drapes, beautiful velvet drapes. You talk about your lousy sound.
It was awful because it absorbed everything.
Oh, we just could not do anything. And
Really?
I had to prove it to them that the sound was not there. It wasn't. They weren't enjoying it. There was nothing we
course
could
not.
do. So they took it down.
The sound gets to the curtains, and the curtain absorbs the sound,
That's
and
right.
that's the end of it.
That's
Amen.
right. So they took it down.
Isn't that a riot? What a great
So
story.
so the four notes had a pull there.
I never. Did you play at the old club, at the officers' club too?
Oh yeah, I played many times there. Yeah.
Because you and I have many connections. Of course,
Sure.
I certainly didn't play any music in those days, at least here in this town. But I did help to pour cement on the officers' club. Pickles Proctor was my
Oh, poor
cement
Pickles
foreman back
Proctor,
in those
my
days.
God.
And I've got stories once again that we won't be repeating on the air. Here's another great shot, just to show people that you haven't changed one bit. Right over here, 1958.
That's right.
Huh? Oh, I was
1900.
I was 21 years old and feeling my oats.
You were just beginning to feel. your notes.
1958. I was 24 when I came to this town, but I'll tell you what, I got used to this town and fell in love with this town real quick, and because of Chet and the Four Notes,
Yes,
I
that's
said,
right.
this is, I didn't realize Plattsburgh had this much going on. And it really did have a lot going on in those days. And you played, did you ever march in a parade?
You got pictures of them marching somewhere. You'll find them. I don't know where they're at. Yeah, they set up a flatbed truck, sound system, and everything, and did the parade.
Did you
So what
really?
you're gonna have to do now
Okay, I'm
for
gonna,
is start up.
show him this one. You tell me when you got it captured on there.
I got it.
I got it. What is it? Who is this and what's
Well,
going
that's
on?
part of the show. That's Keely Smith, and Lynn King and I would do a takeoff on Keely Smith. We had about I must have had 8 or 9 different numbers that we do.
I remember the Old Black Magic. I don't remember some of the other numbers, but I think that's you were.
Well, that was
I can
Louis.
just hear you singing.
That was Louis Prima's.
Yeah.
We
Louis
did
Prima
all
and Keely
kinds.
and back and forth.
Keely Smith and Louis Prima, and that's what we do. Did a lot of, and then a lot of tunes. I learned probably 10 or 15 different ones.
Did you?
Right down to Pat, where you can see the expression on the face was just like. Had it down pretty
That's
good.
Pretty good. You were
For
a
an
real
old
Sweeney
bugger.
there. Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful.
Now there's Jim Fredericks, so I used to play there. When
Oh,
I
I
first came back to
I
Plattsburgh,
gotta show this picture. Yes, Calvin will get it.
Marie Annis.
Because we mentioned some of these names before. Marie Annis, what
Yeah.
a dear, wonderful lady.
Yeah.
And Jim Frederick, neither of which we have around anymore.
That's right.
Marie and Tiny Hare used to play together.
Oh
a
yeah,
lot
Tiny.
at the Elks
yeah,
Club.
Yeah.
But she was a wonderful person, and she was a
That's
good piano player.
White.
Oh, in the background, yes. On the drums.
Yeah.
Oh, those, these are pictures.
Even had my own bandstands in those days.
Did you
CL,
really? Yeah, that's nice. Well, here's a good shot of the Four
That's
Notes.
a good shot, right
And
there.
this, because this is 1958 again. Because you were right in your prime.
Prime, yeah, oh, yeah.
1958, huh?
Yeah. 1958 is when I
Unfortunately, I was
I
not
got
here
shot
then.
in 1958 from there.
Come on. Tell
I was
me.
playing at the Cadillac Club, and I went hunting in Uncle Pete's farm, Pete Castine,
Yeah.
and some kid shot me. Took me for a rabbit.
No kidding. Where'd you get hit?
I got a 38-40 right through the back and down through my, busted my lung and lodged into the liver, and I've had it in my body ever since.
It's still in there?
It's still in there. I'm a little heavier than I should be.
It didn't hurt you a heck of a lot.
Never bothered me and never.
How long were you in the hospital?
About 10 days.
I never heard that story. You gotta be kidding.
I was in the hospital 10 days, and all through my childhood, Sister Rita, who was superior at the Champlain St. Mary's Academy, stayed with me for 3 days. I never forgot that. And Father Aubin, you know Father Aubin?
No, Father Joe Aubin, Monsignor Joe
Father Aubin,
very well.
come up to the hospital, and he stayed there. They tell me that he'd put a mirror to see if I was breathing.
You know, those things mean a lot to you. And, you know, we're talking about history. Well, just for a moment, Kelvin and I have gone back to the heritage days in Moira, where I went to high school a few times. And we were doing the parade one year, and a lady walked up to me and took out her purse and took out a picture of my father, who was a minister.
Is that
And
right?
she carried in her purse for all those years, you know, from way, way, way back in the
Oh, my
late 40s,
God.
early 50s. And I said, why? And she said, it was either her or her sister who were deathly ill. And my father stayed at their house
Right
for
there.
days. And you know, my father loved a piece of cake.
Sure.
But he'd pray with the family and do whatever he needed to do, and that woman survived all those years and never forgot.
That's it.
When we went to town,
that's
she
what
showed me
done it.
that
I carried
picture.
that thing with me for years and years and years.
Okay, we got welcome Philco dealers. My God.
Well, I opened
how
up
many,
the.
how many people remember Philco dealers?
Well, that particular picture there is in Messina, New York.
In
I opened up
Messina?
the Holiday Inn in Messina, New York, and that's the head of NBC right there.
Oh, the guy next to the SO sign, the head of
And that's the guy
NBC.
of the Holiday Inn. And what they did is they opened up that brand new Holiday Inn in Messina.
Yeah.
And while opening that, Jacques Cousteau, the guy that had the boat,
Kuso?
Jacques Cousteau and his son. You don't remember that guy?
Yeah, of course, very much.
Well, he
he
invented
invented the aqualung.
that. Well, all right, but he invented this
Cousteau,
tent.
Jacques Cousteau.
Jacques Cousteau invented a tent where they put these heaters inside of it, and they would hold this tent up over swimming pools.
Yeah.
And they had a swimming pool there, and that's what they had. This guy would get on top of this tent, nothing holding this thing, no bars or nothing, just the ropes, and he would get up on top of that thing. Just that hot air would hold that tent up there,
Isn't that
and that's what.
amazing?
And this was in the wintertime.
I love it. I love it. Great, great, great pictures.
What's that there?
Oh, that's for. Oh, we can mention that's an ad for the Elks Club because the ads were great. And you guys played at the Elks
That's
Club.
right. That's another place we played many times.
Many, many times.
I
I
really
mentioned Tiny Hair because Tiny Hair was a fixture in this community on the radio station for a
Yeah.
long, long time. He was back during the Vietnam War.
Uh-huh.
The Wiry radio station was the very first one to send a reporter, a small radio station to send a reporter to Vietnam. Can you
that
believe
right?
it? Tiny
Yeah.
Hair went, recorded interviews.
There's the four that played at the,
Well, there's Marianas. We can show some of these
Well,
briefly.
you
I
gotta-
realize that
I
they
think-
won't show up that good, right? It's different.
Lady at the piano?
The lady at the piano is Marianas. That's a good shot of her, even though it may be hard to see.
Okay.
And tell me who are these? Some of the others.
Four guys, three guys. There's three guys. There's four guys played at the 1980 Olympics.
Oh, those were the guys that you had in the end. So that's
Well, that's just
27,
four of
years,
them. I had-
27 years ago.
That's just the four, and we did. This is the four for.
So those are pleasant. So many pleasant memories. I'm glad you have so many pictures because you know that every now and again I'll come up with a few pictures of the olden days, but most of them are not in color. and we've looked at quite a few pictures here. Any other particular pictures that you think we may want to look at? We got ice storm pictures, and God knows we've seen lots of those. Family members and friends. That's a good shot because how often do we talk about...
You know what that is?
No, what is it?
That's Tom and Sid and myself worked
Tom
hard
LeClaire,
to pick
Sid
up enough,
Spiegel,
and Tom LeClaire
and you.
picked up enough money to buy this wheelchair for this boy, and we sent it by plane to him.
Did you really?
Yes, sir.
And that, people who don't know, because he's broadcasting live, if you look at Sid Spiegel's hand in that picture, you can see a cord coming out of his hand.
Yeah.
And he's got the old Motorola microphone, just like the cops used to have in
he
their
was there
cars.
at that time, but Tom LeClaire and I are the one that did.
And that's people who go back to the old days of WEAV and WIRY. Remember News of the Day with
right.
Sidney J.
Sidney J.
And we broadcast the bobsled races for
Oh, yeah.
a long
Oh,
time
yeah.
up in Mount Van Ovenberg. And he was a legend in his own time, wasn't he, Sid
Yeah.
Spiegel? My
Yeah, he was
goodness.
up there when we were playing.
Well, oh yeah, he was up there. Oh, he loved it up in Lake
Oh, yeah,
Placid.
we were up there.
He had that hat and the cigar and all the pins on his hat. And
Man, was it cool that? Oh God.
you know, I remember when Jim McKay from ABC Wide World of Sports
Yeah.
just first started. They came up there and they were going to broadcast the bobsled races. ABC had never broadcast anything like bobsled races, and I shook his hand and asked him if I could show him around or show him anything. He said, "Yeah, show me a bobsled." He says, "I have no idea what a bobsled looks
Is
like."
that right?
Yeah, Jim
Oh my
McKay.
God.
And they did a wonderful job at it, and we broadcasted on the radio for a long time. So Chet and the Four Notes actually played off and on for what? More than 20 years?
We broke up. Actually, broke up in 1977.
Yeah.
I mean, that's when then I do pickup work jobs, you know.
But that's almost unheard of for
Yeah.
a band. I mean, you have a few of the old rock and roll
Yeah.
bands from the 60s that have hung in there like the Rolling Stones, you know?
If it was today, we'd be millionaires.
Oh yeah, but you know, you didn't play for that much money. You
No.
didn't make that much money.
God, I think it was $1.65 a night. The first night we played. That's right. I think it was $1.65, something like that. Played for it. Played for peanuts. Well, I
Peanuts?
enjoyed it. Let's put it that money. Money was all right, but I enjoyed so much pleasing people. If I saw somebody smile and happy out there, I was happy. I did my darndest to make them happy.
You know, it worked
and
both
it worked
ways, because
for-
I talked before I use the word synergy often, but if you can develop a relationship with that audience.
That's right. That's what it is. That's
It's
what it
way
takes.
different when you're on the radio, when you're on television, when you're in a club. Those people are right there.
Oh yeah.
And if you bomb, you're going down the tubes. And if you create that magic,
You know, there's always somebody, you know, as though that's. I know. I can count the time. I think it's only a couple of times that an individual would get smart.
yeah.
You know that. And I remember one night at the Grandview, this man got smart, and I just can't say anything. But Lynn
He was good at that, wasn't he?
got off the bandstand, and I said, "Lynn, forget it. So I'll take care of it. He goes over to the microphones and he said, the person out there that is heckling us or having fun being overcrowded with their people, he says, would you mind stepping up or standing up? The guy stood up, of all things. And you know what he said? Well, he says, you know, the four of us are here for 3 hours. We are having fun, but you're making an ass of yourself. Man, the guy cut right down.
That was the end of that.
Yeah, he cut him right off. Lynn had a way of doing.
He was very good at that. Yeah.
He had a
But
way.
that didn't happen very often with your
No.
in clubs in
I
New
can
York
count
and
the
in
times.
other places. You're going to get hecklers, and the first thing anybody who's on
Well,
the
he was
stage
just one of those
learns,
smart guys.
you
that
learn the
can-
comebacks.
Yeah.
You learn a few comebacks because you're going to get it once in a while.
No, we had fun. We were there to have fun, and that was the thing. And my thing was that punctuation was very important. The way my boys looked was very important to me. If he had like if he had right colored socks, he'd go home and put the right colored socks on. When I bought the outfits. It was a pink outfit with tux pants,
Oh, I
a
know.
certain bow tie,
Yeah.
and that's the way it was. And I would check them.
You aren't the only one. I've heard a lot of band leaders and entertainers,
Yeah, I learned
very
that.
famous people who said, come with the right clothes on. If you don't, you got to go home and come back.
That's
'cause
right.
I want you to look
That's
a certain
right.
way on the stage. It's very
Appearance to me
important.
was a very important thing.
And being on time, being pretty sober when you got there, you know.
But
But
I never had too much problem.
it was a different time and place. One of the reasons we're doing this interview is just to renew our friendship.
That's
You and I have
exactly-
known
that's
each
right.
other for a long time.
Yeah.
But to let people know that it's a different world today. We're not saying it's better or worse, but there were some pretty darn good times around Clinton County, and Champlain, and Blacksburg, New York.
My good times, my happy times was here. You see, I worked here, and then I went from here to Detroit, to Tucson,
Well, I wanted
Arizona.
to talk about that. We didn't even get to that. You went to Tucson, Arizona. I didn't
You
know
didn't
where
ask me.
Well, no, we're getting to it. I didn't know where you went for a while till you came
Well, in
back and you
19
and I talked and you said, "Gordy, I got a band out here."
I can't talk about it, but there was a little problem involved in my life,
Yeah,
which is a very sad thing as far as my part.
yeah,
But I went to Tucson,
right.
and I joined the union. I said,
Yeah, I want to
I
show
want
this. This is kind of cool. Yeah, you join. Go ahead. Just keep talking.
I joined the union and got involved. I became I was on the board for them. Became on the board. Went through the Phoenix, and I played in a couple bands. Then I decided, well, if that's the case, I'm going to get a band of my own. So I got half a dozen guys together from the union, and I had a bunch of arrangements anyway.
Now you were probably in your 70s by then.
Yeah, I wasn't
You weren't a spring chicken.
I wasn't a kid.
Yeah.
And got the 4 or 5 guys together, played a few jobs, and I said, well, so I got better arrangements. And one night I was playing at the Whittier Hotel with the band doing shows. My baritone player didn't show up, sax player. So it was very important, but some of the arrangements that I had, baritone was, because I had that kind of a band. And he didn't show up. So one guy says, well, the guy down the street here at that store, forgot his name, plays Barry. I said, well, can you get a hold of him? He says, yeah. I said, I'll get a hold of him. So he got a hold of him. And he come up with his Barry. Now this guy's crippled. Couldn't play
Really not very good.
very good. But I appreciated what he did.
Yeah.
So he had this store, and the next day I went down to the store and met him, talked to him, and he had a violin shop where he repaired violin and saxophones and reeds. Quite a shop. And
Yeah.
he had probably a couple hundred violins that he had in there and stuff like that. So from that time on, I got to be a good friend with him. I'd go down and help him out and everything else. So it got to a point I'd go down every day
No kidding.
to help him, besides playing at night. Well, he got sick. And when he got sick, enough that he passed away, that I got the store.
Oh.
So I went from 200 violins to about 800, 600 or 800 violins, and I brought in schools and
No kidding.
And I went to the school, and of course, through him, a couple of years that I was there, I learned how to repair violins and stuff like that, to a point where I got priceless books on here, and
No
the
kidding.
making of violins, and I can
had
make a
forgotten
violin.
that. Yeah, no kidding.
And I did the university's violins and repair work and stuff like that, and I got acquainted with these people. And then I started getting bigger band and bigger band and bigger band and bigger band. And then, of course, Thelma West. I don't know if you know Thelma West or not, but anyway, that's the lady I was with. Passed away on me. And
That's what happens when you get to be 92. You outlive all your friends.
and I had bands. I got to.
Well, the
got
biggest
big
band you
bands.
had
I
was how many
playing
pieces?
Big hotels all over the place.
How
I
many
had,
pieces? 12?
What? 12 pieces?
How many-
16 pieces.
16-piece band.
Yeah, that picture of that band. And
But when I
the
saw
Vegas-
you after you had gone out there, you said, this place is amazing. Arizona's amazing. They love the big band sound
Oh yeah,
out there.
it
Remember
was
you
getting
telling
bigger
me
all
that?
the time. Yeah. Well, like that guy, I was very lucky because all the retirees of the big band era, most of them were in Green Valley, Arizona.
Yeah, think about it.
So a lot of, I can't tell you the names now, but my lead alto player was Stan Kenton's lead alto player.
Yeah.
He was,
Yeah, these are podunk people.
You know,
these are
you
guys
can
who
see
have
'em
been
in there.
playing since the 1930s and
you know,
40s.
and Hill Radke was with Eddie Howard for 23
Oh,
years.
sure.
He's a very prominent writer, the same age as I am. Never left me from the time I
No kidding.
1983, I think, it's 84. Then I left the Union, stayed right with me, built the band up with it. So I got to know a lot of good arrangers and whatnot. I had special arrangers. So I built up a library of probably 18 to 1900 special arrangements that you just don't buy at the store.
Yeah, that's for
You
sure.
know, there was
Yeah.
big time stuff. Stan Kenton. A lot of the guys play that with me, as you can see in there.
So you had
Anyway,
some great gigs out there, right?
Yeah, I played Vegas thing. You saw the Vegas thing.
Yeah.
So I gave all that and of course, Bruce always said, Dad, you got to come back home. You know, when I got to be 90 years old, you got to come back home. Poor Bruce, he wanted me back home.
Yeah, well, you know,
So-
you get attached to the North Country.
You're gonna die, you die out home, not out there.
You're going to outlive all the rest of
I ain't
us.
gonna go out there and bury you. You come die,
What a
die
guy.
here.
What a guy.
What a guy. Honestly, this guy here is Bruce LaValley is. He's more popular than I am.
He's a good guy. And everybody knows Bruce.
And he's amazing what this young fellow did for himself.
Oh, yeah, think about it.
Yeah, there's not a thing in this world that he can't do. I don't care. He beats me in golf, pool, anything.
Now, we
And
should mention for the
very,
people who
very
don't know, Bruce
intelligent.
only has one arm. Now, he lost his arm in an accident as a kid,
Where he's living today.
Calvin's place.
Calvin's place on that yard, right in the front door. They were doing, when somebody lays on the ground and lifts his knees up in the air,
Yeah,
and you run and you put your hands and you do the
yeah,
flip.
Yep.
Well, Carl and Bibby, they call him Bibby, were playing together. That's what they were doing. And he fell and broke his wrist, which was a compound fracture. Okay? And a compound fracture, having worked in the hospital, should never have been wrapped solid. You should have a split cast so they open it up so the air can get to it.
Yeah.
But Dr. Ryan, I'm going to mention his name as much as I hate him, put this thing solid cast on here. And when you put a solid cast on here, start to swell out. And well, he was dying. They called me, I was in service, they called me and I came in. And when I left, my CEO said, my commanding officer said, Private LaValley, if you're going to go to Plattsburgh, there's a naval hospital there, and the head doctor is Major Green. I can remember that, but I can't remember yesterday. Major Green, and if you have any trouble, have him call me, and I'll get the authorization for him to take over. So I came up, and Brucey was dying. He was dying.
Now, he's just a little kid,
You got a
right?
hold of my medals here with that
Yeah.
right hand, and hang on to them. And finally, they took the cast off, put a split cast, put it up like that on him, and put it in bed, sitting up in a manner like this, up like that. And I said, well, I don't like this thing the way they're doing. So I said, I'm going to hospital. I went and saw Major Green. I told him a story. Called my captain, Captain O'Toole, and he said whatever he had to do. They took his staff went over there to the hospital. Dr. Ryan, Dr. Chirkus, Dr. Kasperzak, all in that room together. And I can remember hearing him say, I was back in that hallway, heard him say, "This should never have happened." Just like that. I'll never forget those words like that. And then they all come out of that room, went into Bruce's room, and they were saying what they were going to do. And they said, well, we'll put a stick in his hand, a little piece of wood in his hand like this, tie a rope around it like this, a pulley will go up to the top like there, and holding his hand like this. And at the end of that pulley, down the rope down there, we'll have a weight that will hold his arm up in the air and will stretch his arm out like that. Well, they tell me that maybe you've had it happen. Your nerves in your body, if you get excited or scared or something like that, all the nerves in your body tighten right up. You probably have had that happen to you. You know, if you maybe you're going too fast, it causes an accident, you stop, and you.
Yeah.
Well, that's what happened. They say that that's what happened. When he said that they're going to put this pulley and that weight will pull his arm, that scared Bruce. So they walked away. Wasn't a minute later I heard, "Dad, Dad." And I go in there, boy, the blood.
Oh,
That was it.
no kidding.
I had to take him upstairs to take his arm.
But look what he's done. I mean, we mentioned that story, and I didn't mention that to bring back sad memories, but Bruce has accomplished as much or
That's
more
what I'm
than
saying. That's what I'm
any able-bodied man could ever do.
Unbelievable.
To play golf,
I'm so
to do
proud
all
of
the
him.
stuff that he's done, you know?
He's I see we're going to go golfing tonight, and I know
Oh, yeah.
he's going to beat the hell out of me.
You're quite a guy. What other stories did you come in here wanting to tell today? Any other great memories that you
I
might
didn't want to tell
add?
anything. I didn't want to see this guy. This guy wants me to get an interview. I said, "What for? I'm no celebrity."
Oh, yes, you are.
No, I'm not. But
You're my hero.
there's a horn right there that's a very high-priced instrument that I wish somebody would take it off my hands.
You've had that for a while.
I just got that.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. That picture, this picture right here.
Oh, we didn't show that picture
is
yet,
very
I don't
interesting. That's
think.
the lady I lived with in Green Valley, Arizona for many years. A great lady. Her name is Billy. Beaudry's her name is. And she's a sweetheart. Calls me
she's
every
still out there?
day. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's in our home out there. She said, "I got a home." We have a home out there, but she won't. She'll probably come out. But she is very close. We never forgot. She's calling me every other day.
Well, what, now that we're at this point in the show, why do you think you made it to 92? Was it all those things I mentioned before?
Why do I
Was
think
it
I
good
made it?
genes, good friends, good family,
Clean
good
living.
clean living?
Drinking cast iron milk.
You think so? Huh? Unpasteurized?
No, I don't know if that's it or not.
Did
I don't
anybody
know.
in your family make it
I
past
don't know
90?
if it's that or not, but I think, you hear the story, I smoked all my life, and there's 58, you're 60 years old, and they got all kinds of problems. People, I never smoked in my life. I never
did. Isn't that
never had a cigarette.
amazing?
Never smoked in my life. The only thing
A
I
lot
can
of
say,
secondhand
the only
smoke, right?
smoking that I ever smoked is at the Grandview, as I said, it was blue. That's the only kind of smoke.
You breathed in the smoke whether you liked it or not.
Whether I liked it or
Yeah.
not. But I never
Never
smoked, and
smoked?
I never drank. I never had a little bit of liquor in my life. And
No kidding.
Never drank
And that
beer.
was just a choice you made? Or did you think it was wrong to do it, or what were the... I mean, how could anybody play in bars all those years without smoking? Be honest.
Probably shouldn't say it, but there's always, the reason for something is because something happened, right?
Yeah.
My father got very sick on liquor. I saw my mother take a broom to him.
Come on. Come on.
Yeah, she took a broom to him. He came in sick. He was poisoned. In those days,
yeah.
they caught a load of liquor and beer.
Oh, sure.
It's not that he was a drunk, it's just he got that booze into him.
That's
and
why they called it rock gut.
As a
you
matter
know.
of fact, 4 guys died
Oh,
from
sure.
that same
Oh, yeah.
drinking. But he was very sick, and I swore I would never touch
So
him.
that's where you
So
make
I
that-
don't know if that's it or not, but
Well, I'm sure
it
that's
always
part of it.
reverts back to that thing, you know.
But a lot of it, also, it's a good point to mention that a lot of it has to do with being happy. You found
Oh,
ways
oh.
to be happy. You had sad
Oh, yeah,
times, but you had found ways to be happy.
Yeah.
You surrounded yourself
Well,
with,
there are things in my life I wished I could have done better.
yeah. Well,
Much better, but, you know,
Here you
especially
are.
my family. I
You
wish I
can't
could have
change
done
all
better.
that now.
No.
What I want people to know is at the end of this program, you have a DVD with the band playing. You have a tape with some of the Chet and the Four Notes music.
Right.
Calvin's going to put the pictures together and play some of that stuff on the end of this program so people can tell that what we're talking about was for real.
Well, they'll probably remember.
Chet
seeing
and the Four
show.
Notes were real. It's time to wrap up our portion of the show. Chet LaValley, thank you so much for
Thank you,
inviting
my
me
friend.
here today. You
Thank
are
you.
a dear
You're a great
friend.
guy.
I'm thrilled that you're back in town, and I want the North Country to know that this area is a better place.
Well, most of my friends are here.
This area is a better place because you're here.
Well, thank you.
Because you made such a huge contribution.
Well, thank you.
And who knows where we're going to be next time for our little corner.